Hello. Hope you're having a good day. So I've been recording a lot of videos with the theme of relationship and about choosing yourself instead of losing yourself into the idea of love or into someone else, and also how expectations, when those comes into a romantic relationships, how that kind of fuck everything up. So I will talk a little bit more about that. How do you practically do to not fall into behaving as if you have expectations of the other, or getting hooked on responding to someone else's expectation? So one very concrete way to practice on it is to start to become really aware of what is the driving force behind when you reach out to the person you're interested in. It's very simple to compare with friendship, because then it's more likely that you reach out to the friend, like, hey, how are you doing? What are you doing? It's a bit more likely that you do it because you are interested in meeting the friend, and you're interested in the friend, because there are not, generally speaking, the same kind of expectations in a friendships as it is in a romantic relationship. So if you are starting, like if you're interested in someone romantically, or if you're like in the beginning of the relationship, or also if you are already stuck in a relationship, if you are blessed with being in a relationship, try to become aware, like what is when you reach out, like, hey, what are you doing? How are you? Do you want to see? Would you want to meet? Like, or if you live together, like when you talk with the person, because then actually it can be more difficult, like when you're in the relationship, because then you already have roles. So maybe actually I'm talking about more like when this new relationship is forming, because then it's a bit easier to become aware of it. So what is the driving force behind, and what is the intention of you contacting the other person? Is it because you feel bored, feel alone, wants to distract, wants to be entertained, wants validation, wants admiration? Really sit with yourself before you reach out to this other person with a text, or like calling him or her. Like, why do I wanna, what is my interest based on right now? Like, what is it coming from? And basically, is it coming from fear, or is it coming from love? That's the base of it. Is it coming from fear, like fear of abandonment, basically fear of rejection? And how so? Well, if you reach out, like, what are you doing? How are you? Without really being interested in the answer, or reaching out without being grounded in yourself. It might be that you reach out in order to, keep the attachment going, or like keep the interest alive with the other person, make yourself interesting, or act as if you're interested in the other. So the base of that is often like a fear of abandonment that goes deep down from your past early relationships. So ask yourself, like, why am I reaching out now? How am I feeling? That's like, how am I feeling inside? Am I content, or am I not content? And then I use the contact with the other person as a way to feel something else, like as a way to regulate myself. And don't be hard on yourself. It's nothing wrong in doing so. It's very human. It's very normal. Like if we're sad that we're reaching out to someone, or if we're bored, we want, be stimulated. It's very normal. It's just that if you want to go deeper in creating like long-lasting relationships that really is based on respect and integrity for yourself and for the other, this is the way you can do it. Like then you need to do like a bit, then harder work of not distracting yourself through the other person, because then the relationship is not based on like on you love yourself and the other person is loving yourself, and then you see what happens. Then it's based on a chase or a fear, on expectations, and which heightens the risk of actual abandonment and rejection and toxicity. So what I'm saying now is, if you really want to change your way of having relationships, so you can try to, when you are feeling low and you are, say, alone at home, try to then, and if you have like a habit of whenever you're bored, whenever you're alone, that you reach out to someone, either by phone or by texting, or you going out, try to stop that impulse. Try to not do it this time. Try to contain, try to face whatever the boredom is wanting to tell you, or the sadness is wanting to tell you. And this goes in line with what I said before, like to have the emotion. Sometimes life is boring, or sometimes you're tired and then everything goes slower and you're more sensitive to sad feelings. That's just the way of life. So basically what I'm saying is to actually accept the flow of moods in life and the flow of how life is, with life and death. Like sometimes we feel alive, sometimes we feel more dead. Sometimes dopamine is high, sometimes dopamine is low. And the more you accept that flow, the more chance you will have to have a peaceful, blissful life, actually, because then you're more flowing with life than you are resisting it. So yeah, whenever you are bored, try to, and you have a habit of reaching out, don't reach out, hey, how are you doing? And or whenever you are feeling sad and you're reaching out, either saying, hey, how are you doing, or you're reaching out by, I'm feeling sad, try to not do it and see what happens. Try to sit with the emotion yourself and accept the emotion in yourself. Don't use someone else to help you deal with the emotion. Again, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's sustaining like a system where you are dependent on someone else in order to feel good, which is basically attachment. That's how attachment is developed. Healthy attachment is developed in that way, that the baby is dependent on the mother in order to feel good. However, healthy attachment needs to develop into detachment for a while. Like the baby or the child needs to, the mother needs to reject the child, the baby, in a safe way, so that detachment can happen, so that the child or the teenager can, become its own person that can learn to regulate itself and to deal with their emotion themselves and to make choices themselves, but with the support of a safe environment. And I will talk about that in another video, like the act of rejection, actually, like when you reject your child in a safe way, how that the chance of healthy development is higher than for that child growing up, because it will learn love with attachment, which will stir up less suffering than love with attachment. If you stay with attachment, that's like often a problem. So the way you can work with that as an adult, again, to learn to not attach to someone when you have an emotion or emotional state that you don't like. Learn to detach from the other person, to not use the other person to regulate yourself, face the emotion yourself. And when you have then faced your emotion, when you have faced your boredom or the sadness, and you feel confident in like, yeah, I can face that myself, then it will be much more clear, the impulse to contact the other person. Hey, how are you doing? Do you want to meet? Or to make contact with the other person, the chance will be much higher that the intention comes from an actual interest in the other person than from a state of fear, of abandonment, or of boredom. This is a way like of having not reinforcing in a relationship which is based on expectations. Because as soon as you contact the other person with the intention of not being rejected, the other person will feel forced to meet you in that fear and to sort of validate you and also say, yeah, I'm well, or yeah, it will meet you in the fear in a way of abandonment. And that's how expectations are reinforced in with the relationships, instead of like a genuine interest in the other person. Because what you are avoiding is the silence that's happening when each one of you is choosing yourself whenever you are uncomfortable, when you are bored, or when you are sad, or when you're happy, but really the ability to face your feelings yourself, to choose yourself in whatever emotional state you are in, instead of using the other person to regulate you. The more you gain the capacity to do so, whatever relationship you have with someone else will be a lot safer. It will be grounded in in an environment where rejection or where silence between you doesn't need to be the same thing. Doesn't have to be rejection. Doesn't have to be that there is a disruption in the relationship. It's just that you are with yourself. And when each person in the relationship choose themselves, like when I choose myself, I regulate myself. Then when I do reach out to you, when I do show interest in you, the other person, then it's more evident that it's because of an interest of you, or of you and me together, instead of me using you in order to regulate myself. Because as soon as I do, then there will be expectations of you need to answer me now when I'm bored, or when I feel this or that. You need to be the person who helps me to avoid myself. You need to help me feel in certain ways. And that's what I said in the other video. As soon as you, sometimes when you call yourself like, now we are a couple, or you are my boyfriend, I'm your girlfriend, then there comes with expectations. You as my boyfriend, you need to make me feel in a certain way. You need to treat me in a certain way so that I feel good about myself. And then there is expectations for sure. And for some people that works, but for most, or for many, it will create disruptions, and it will create heartaches and suffering, and it will create breakups. So again, for more sustainable relationships, be really mindful, like, what is the driving force of me reaching out? Or what role does this other person play for me? Is it to regulate myself, or to help me avoid myself? Or is it because I truly genuinely, want this person in my life? I'm interested in this person just as I am, like in a friendship that is not romantically, then the chance is bigger that the interest is actually driven by an actual interest of the person, and not to avoid myself. So that's like a practical thing you can work on, to really sit with yourself, like before you reach out to someone, and to really, feel in yourself, to be aware of, like, how am I feeling right now, and do I expect the other person to make me feel in another way, or do I accept the way I'm feeling right now and face how I'm feeling, and I reach out because I want like a connection with this person, and not get help to disconnect from myself, because then you are more likely up to trouble later in the relationship. And the same goes also, actually for whatever you are dependent on. Like, why am I wanting to eat something right now, or why do I want to like every dependency we have, like, this is obviously something to reflect on. Like, why do I need this right now? Do I need it to enhance something? And why do I need something external to enhance something, some state in me? Or do I need something external to avoid something in me? And sometimes, again, that is necessary because our life is too stressful. But if it goes on for too long, we'll get stuck in avoidance of facing what actually is uncomfortableness that we would need to face, whatever fear or stressful state or uncomfortable emotions there is in us, that when we face them and when we come at peace with them, our life get the chance to become more peaceful and calmer and happier in the long term. So I hope this was helpful and some inspirational thoughts for some of you on how to deal with new relationships and how to how to get to learn about yourself and what to avoid in yourself and how you deal with relationships. So yeah, please comment if this was something you've experienced, and or if what you experienced by trying this out. So okay, thank you for this time.